houseplanters, welcome back to Millennial Planter. I'm Marina, the Millennial Planter, and in today's video I'm going to do a little repot with me. I have a lot of plants to repot. I've been doing a lot of growing this summer, and then I'm also just gonna talk about my soil mixture. Now, disclaimer, this isn't your scientific go-to 100% accurate video. I'm just sharing a little experiment that I've been doing and just creating my own soil and just finding what works best for me. And if you guys want to try it out, you could try it out. Yeah, so let's just get on into the video. Now, I've been experimenting, like I said, with making my own soil, not really for any specific reason other than I just wanted to see what it was like, and I just wanted to experiment. In the past, I have used black gold soil, I have used Miracle-Gro soil, I have used some sort of soil by this nursery called Pike Nursery. They have one, and honestly, so far, the one by Pike has probably been my favorite. I haven't used, I know there's another brand that is literally slipping my mind that everybody uses, and I haven't used them yet, and I've heard really good stuff about that brand, but that's definitely next to try. But basically, the bulk of my mix has been coco coir, and honestly, just using this is way less expensive than buying soil all the time. This block is only $5 at PetSmart, and it fills up this whole thing, and honestly, that's enough to last me a good couple months if I'm not actually, even if I'm going out and buying a whole bunch of plants, it lasts me a good amount of time. So this here is coco coir, and if you don't know what coco coir is, it's basically just a byproduct of coconut husk. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but from what I remember, basically this is just the byproduct, so this is going to get tossed out anyways. So the best thing about coco coir is that it is a renewable source. They just take the leftover and make it into this brick, and it's used for all types of stuff. A lot of people use it for reptiles, which was really awesome to see. So if you don't know about that, check out your local pet store, and you can find some pretty cool and affordable, very affordable products for your plants that people use for pets. The best thing about coco coir is that it's good at retaining moisture, and that's another good thing about mixing your own soil is that, and even when you don't mix your own soil, even when you're adding in perlite and orchid bark and just making an airy soil, you don't want to make it so airy that the plants aren't even absorbing the water because it's all just draining out. Yes, you want a well-draining soil, but you also want to add some stuff that can retain moisture, and coco coir is really good for that. Coir is also a good replacement for peat moss. If you don't know, peat is not a renewable source, and it also dies on you. It's really hard to get it to rehydrate again once it's completely dehydrated. So let's just not steal from the peat bogs and just switch over to coco coir, because I swear that you will love it. Another good thing that I love about mixing my own soil is that I don't have to worry about my soil bags being infested with fungus gnats, because I'm sure we all have had that problem at some point. It's not fun, because that's the quickest way to just have gnats constantly flying in your face and up your nose and in your mouth and in your coffee. So obviously, this is way less pest prone. And I actually started doing this probably about 2 or 3 months ago, and I posted about it on Instagram, started mixing it and just messing around with it, seeing how I like it, and honestly, so far I've loved it. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that coco coir has no nutrients in it, so you're gonna have to add in worm castings, or I like to use the Osmocote dry fertilizer, and that's good for about 6 months. So I like to mix that in the first couple inches of topsoil, and I also just use a liquid fertilizer, and I would eventually like to get some worm castings, but I don't know about you, but lately here it's been hard to find soil amendments, especially since the pandemic. It's everybody wants to get into houseplants now, which is, it's good, I understand why people want to get into houseplants, but it's been hard to find even perlite. So yeah, worm castings I'm gonna leave out, but by all means, if you want to try this, I highly recommend adding it to your mix. So basically, I'm just gonna break this down for you guys. I have this plant stand, so hopefully this will help you be able to see stuff. I'm also going to use this plant tarp. Actually, this girl Phoebe over at Welcome to the Jungle Home makes these plant tarps, and they're so cute. But look at how perfect that is. It just folds up into a little thing, and it makes potting plants so much easier. And we all know potting plants gets really messy. Okay, so this is basically what it looks like. It's literally just a brick. And you just put it in there. Actually, one of my friends told me that using warm water helps the brick break down faster. So I'm trying that out now. But you just pour water on there, a whole bunch of water, and you're just gonna wait for it to start to break down, and you could crumble it with your fingers. And you're definitely going to need more than whatever is in here. I don't even know how much water is in here. I think it's 1 liter. But you're definitely going to need more water than that. So I'm going to be making a few trips. So you can already see that the coir is starting to come apart and expand a lot, and you're just gonna keep doing that until it's all broken up, because as you can see, the further in you go, like, it's still, well, pretty hard inside. Oh, I'm making a mess. Honestly, it's just kind of fun to like take it apart, you know? Get your hands really dirty. Okay, so while we wait for this to absorb a little bit more moisture, the next product I like to use is pumice. Actually, I use pumice and perlite. Usually I use perlite because it's accessible, and I have a huge bag that's literally like half the size I am. And you can find it, I know here in the States, you can find perlite at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, pretty much everywhere. Pumice, on the other hand, you usually have to order online. Or I actually just found out that apparently you could order it from like those tractor stores. I don't know what they call, tractor supply stores. So I'm actually gonna try that out, and I will let you all know if I can actually find it there. And I also like to use orchid bark. I like this one specifically because this one has all sorts of sizes of orchid bark mix, and then it also has charcoal, and this one has bigger pieces of perlite and not just like the small chalky pieces. So I really like this one. You can find it at Home Depot for like, I think $7 or $8. Really affordable. Same thing with perlite. Everything is just like super cheap. All of this you could find on Amazon, and I will have them in the links below, but you could also find them at big box stores, at nurseries, pretty much everything but the pumice. The pumice I also got on Amazon. But yeah, so like I said, I don't mix it into my soil. I like to mix it into the first couple top inches, because if it's at the bottom, it's not really going to benefit the roots, versus then if it's at the top and then you water it, and then all that can like drain down. And then also I fertilize my plants pretty much every watering, just because it is the growing season and they're all growing insanely fast. Right now I'm using liquid dirt, and I have loved the outcome of liquid dirt and the Osmocote together. I feel like my plants are loving it. I haven't had any noticeable nutrient deficiencies, so it's just been really good all around. I was just talking about that on Instagram. I am not ready for fall to come. Honestly, I love fall, but my plants have been growing so much this season, and I'm not ready for that growth to stop, and I'm not ready for my plants to go dormant. So it's definitely bittersweet, but honestly, I love fall. I love spooky season. I love it all. I love it all. Minus the pumpkin spice. I am not a pumpkin spice fan. You can give me all the apple cider though. All right, so this is pretty much all broken down. There's some bigger chunks here that I'm just going to break down some more, and you really want to mix it up because it gets kind of sludgy at the bottom where all the water just falls to. Here is a close-up. You can see that sort of consistency. It's very, very similar to peat moss, and it's very, I mean, it's literally the same. They have the same moisture retentive components, and honestly, they look really similar. So just switch on over to coco coir. You don't need to use peat in your life. And now we're gonna add the pumice, which pumice and perlite, the big debate. I feel like everybody loves pumice, but perlite is just always what's readily available. So basically, pumice is more heavier. As you can see, it's like actual rocks, and it doesn't float to the top like perlite does. And I'm actually starting to notice that this season, now that I've been repotting some plants from last season because they've outgrown their pots, I've noticed just how much perlite has float to the top and how like more dense it is at the bottom of the pot. So I'm gonna try to get pumice as much as I can. But like I said, sometimes you just gotta get what you gotta get, and perlite will work perfectly fine. And this is not a big bag. I'm probably going to use the whole thing because this is really dense. This whole coco coir thing is like, it's dense. It's dense. And you just, you know, for me, I like to batch make. I like to make one big batch of soil because I don't want to have to remake it. And if I need to add more stuff, I can add more stuff to it and make it more airy, or, you know, I could just, this is just a base. I could adjust as needed. This is actually a pretty popular mix. A lot of people who do their own soil, this is pretty much the go-to. You know, you might add a few things. Some people add vermiculite to things. Some people will add worm castings, which I wish I had. I don't know, I can't think of anything else. Those are like the two main things I could think of. But now we're going to add the orchid bark. So right off the bat, you can see all the stuff that it has. See like the big chunks of perlite and the little charcoal pieces, which is good just to add some, helps take the toxins out or something like that. This mix does tend to have like big orchid pieces, like really big orchid bark pieces, which isn't always ideal for smaller plants, but if it's too big, I'll just take them out. They're really easy to take out. There's other brands that have smaller sorts of orchid bark. They have different measurements of them. I just haven't gotten one yet. If you guys actually, if you know a good brand that I can order from that has different sizes of their orchid bark, definitely let me know in the comments below. I am a bit of an overwaterer and I feel like just making my mix more airy is gonna help my plants in the long run. And that's also something you want to keep in mind. If you are an overwaterer, definitely add more amendments. And if you're not, and you like to underwater and you're more lax, then definitely make it less airy. This is kind of what it looks like. I know it's kind of hard to see. It's a heavy box. But basically, like when I grab a handful, you can see a good mix of everything. And the coco coir right now is pretty wet, so I'm just gonna leave it open and let it dry out for the rest of the day. But now I'm able to use it to pot up my plants in. And that's pretty much it. That's how I make my soil. And now I'm just gonna pot up this Monstera Deliciosa to show you just how I add the Osmocote. I don't know I don't know, I'm a visual learner, so maybe somebody else might learn from watching me. It's pretty simple. So I actually got this Monstera Deliciosa. It's a wee baby. I got it from the Victorian Atlanta, and I actually got it for my friend. And I already have 2 Monstera Deliciosas, like preteen, you know, they're not babies, but they have some pretty bigger than my hand size leaves. But I got this for her, and I figured we could split it, and it could be like our little friendship plant. She just moved into a new house, and I am turning her into a crazy plant lady. She went from no plants to 5 plants in a week, so, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so as you can see, there's about, I don't know, 4 or 5 plants in here, which is crazy. And I haven't had a baby Monstera like this before, so it's gonna be fun. One day I will pot all my Monsteras together, and it's gonna be a good time. These are honestly one of my favorite plants. I love Monstera so much, and it's so weird because I didn't want one for the longest time. And I don't know why, I just didn't. And then I won one in an Instagram giveaway, and honestly, obviously, I'm obsessed. And I love them. I love them so much. They're such good beginner plants. If you're watching this and you don't have one, I really recommend getting one. And I'm kind of scared to take these apart. This is really awkward because I am on a tiny little plant stand. I'm just gonna leave it. It's fine. It's fine. All right, there we go. Oh, it's so cute. Look at that. That's the biggest leaf out of all of them. Does anybody else have friendship plants, by the way? Because that's something I do on the regular. Like this Hamolomina. I don't know if you guys can see it, but Sydney at Peaceful Planting gave this to me, and she actually split it up. So she has half and I have half. And then I have a lithops that I got with another friend. So he has one, I have one, and we both have them in skull planters. So it's like our friendship lithop, which is kind of like sad because if it dies, does that mean the friendship dies? No, I'm just joking. That's not what it means. But it's cool to have plants with your friends, you know, that you got at the same time and you could watch them grow together. And yeah. Am I a nerd? Does that make me like a true plant nerd? Okay, so this is the one I'm gonna give to my friend, and yeah, that's a good size pot for her. I love these pots, these terracotta pots with like no lip, you know how, because this one has a lip and this one doesn't. It's just so sleek and seamless, you know? Okay, so now I'm going to top this off. Whoa, don't fall. With some of this Osmocote. Not too much, but just enough. This is a slow release fertilizer, so that's really good. It's not going to necessarily burn your roots. I mean, I've never heard of it burning your roots. I mean, it probably could if you add like pounds of it, but for the fact that it's slow release, it's pretty safe. And honestly, what really turned me onto it was the fact that I don't know if you guys follow Craig Moran on Instagram, but he has talked about this stuff before too. And if he's talked about it, it surely must be amazing because his plants are just amazing. And if you don't know him, I highly suggest checking out his Instagram account. Okay, I packed this a little too full, which is just my one of my flaws when it comes to potting plants. I always just pack them so full, but it's okay. There's this little Monstera. It's in desperate need of water, as you can see. And this is the part that I left for me. It has smaller roots, so I'm just gonna put it in this little 4-inch pot. With some nice chunky soil. But yeah, like I said, I've heard this sort of soil mix going around, and Honestly, I have loved it a lot. Oh, and another thing I forgot to add about it is that it's really light. It's way lighter than having a potted plant with just soil, which is a huge plus, especially when you have like 10-inch and 12-inch pots. I mean, they can get pretty heavy. And there we have it. These two little cute Monstera Deliciosas, which I love them so much. I'm just so excited to see this grow from a baby to a huge fenestrated adult. Like, it's so crazy to think how different they are in their adult forms. Wow, I love it. I'm so excited. So that's basically it, friends. Super simple mix. Honestly, I've found it to be more affordable than just getting a mix from a big box store or just getting a bag. I would love to hear your experience in the comments down below. Do you mix your own soil? Or, you know, if you don't, then let me know in the comments what's your favorite type of soil. Or if your mixture is similar to mine, what makes it different? I don't know, just let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments. I would love to have that conversation with you. And with all that being said, I will see you all in my next video. Have a wonderful day. Hope you're all staying safe, sane, and happy. Bye. And this is the aftermath of filming a video. Literally a mess everywhere. But thanks to this tarp, I have minimal amount of soil on the ground.